be talking about palliative care. We're going to be talking about hospice care. We're going to be talking about a lot of things that people need to know about and sometimes avoid, sometimes they don't know, and we've got some great information. I want to welcome from the Fit Brain Club, Grace Carpenter.
Hi, Michael.
Great.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
I'm so happy to be here to finally discuss this whole option, the End of Life Option Act, the palliative care hospice piece, and how Saddleback, our wonderful Saddleback Hospice and Palliative Care Group, have brought to the community. For me, this project started with this booklet in December. It was handed to me by Dr. Jansen, who's on the panel. So let's talk about the event first, when and where.
Sure, absolutely. It's coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up really soon, next week. Oh, gosh, a week today. So it's April 30th, and it's in Clubhouse 2. And I just keep telling everybody, if they're going down Moulton, they see the big sign, Gate 12. So Clubhouse 2 is in Gate 12.
Right.
And up in the Sequoia Ballroom, big room.
Great.
And we're going to have a slide presentation by Karen Morin. And I got Karen to be on the panel. She's a well-known educator and RN with 30 years experience with end of life. Even started helping through palliative care and hospice before the law came into effect in June of 2016. So the law lets us have MAID, what they call medical aid in dying, MAID is the acronym, okay?
Which has been in some states for a while, but it's one of those things that I don't know why, but folks really have a hard time wrapping their head around, and they act like it's something else than just to care for someone who's in their end stage of life, right?
Exactly, it's a transition. Some people choose. I have two wonderful articles on two friends, one at a little company, a Mary Catholic Hospital. Oftentimes religion gets involved and they say, oh, are we going against our religion if we have a medical aid in dying? We have the right to discontinue oxygen, to take any medication prescribed by a physician, and that's what this, they call it their GIP. Hospice calls it their general inpatient admission book, GIP. But in this book, it has everything about palliative care, hospice, and the end of life.
And let's, for folks who aren't 100% aware with all the terms, hospice care and palliative care, let's get those kind of defined. Hospice care is end of life for someone who's terminally ill or last 6 months or so of their life, right? But what's palliative care?
Well, palliative care, prevention and support. So it's a multidisciplinary approach. The patient may be receiving many treatments, and it doesn't have to be end of life. They can have any serious illness or a painful illness, and they need, it's an extra level of support. If we just think of it that way. So that you're having, you can, whatever, if it's dementia or cancer, you're in treatment, but you need an extra layer of support.
Right.
And that's...
and so that support, and that's not something you just, hey, I've decided I'm in palliative care. You have to figure these things out. There are people to meet. There are things to sign up for, right? And that's what the April 30th event's going to be all about.
Oh, that's why we're so excited that Saddleback offered to give a copy of their GIP to everyone who attends. And this wonderful little aid. If you don't have this aid on your refrigerator, it's a magnet where you put your post form information. We all have... Everybody will say to me, oh, I did my trust and I did my advance directive. And I said, where is it? Oh, it's in the safe. That doesn't help when the EMTs come to your door. If that information, so we're giving a gift, Saddleback is giving a gift to everyone who comes, and it's a magnet envelope. And nice plastic folder. And you put it on we pass them out in our neighborhood to everybody when they move in. You put it on your refrigerator, so when the EMTs enter, they know where to look, and they don't have to wait for a relative or somebody or intubate you on the way.
Right, and that's the thing. I mean, that's what those advanced directives do, right? But if they're, like you say, if they're locked away in a safe and you're in the middle of an emergency or you're maybe unconscious, whatever it might be, there's no way to communicate what those wants and desires are.
And that's how I met the wonderful Dr. Jansen, who was the first one to volunteer to be on the panel. It was December 14th, and my friend was taken unresponsive. I was on his POA for health, but the hospital didn't have a copy of it, and he didn't sign the final signature here. So naturally, the ER intubates him. So I knew he didn't want to be intubated, and so luckily we got in touch with Dr. Jansen, and he read the papers that were drawn up but not finally signed, and he said, oh yes, as head of the ethics committee, we have to, you know, we're very sorry, but we'll help you. And he was wonderful. He was like an angel to prevent all suffering at end of life, and how he gave the medication, and my friend was able to die more peacefully, just because we have a team. It's not one person. It's Dr. True with all her, she comes to the home. Recently, a friend of mine passed last week, and Dr. True was the last physician who came to the home through palliative care. This one was on hospice, so they're interchangeable.
Right.
An extra
And
layer
it can
of
evolve, a
support.
palliative can evolve into hospice
Exactly.
depending on the condition and what's going on, right?
Exactly.
It's a very important and private, personal decision, right?
Yes.
But should people include family in terms of the decision-making process or the information process, or
Definitely.
both?
People do a great disservice to their families if they don't. For example, the 2 articles I have on Friends, one decided to terminate her oxygen. If she didn't tell her family, what a shock that would have been, right?
Right.
So they had a big gathering. Everybody knew the date. The chaplain was there. The priest was there. And everyone was there. And she was able to have a party. She was able to say her goodbye with her family surrounded her. And also if people choose to take the medication, because they do have the right to have a physician write a prescription in 3 states, California, Oregon, and I go CO, California, Washington, CAL.
Washington, right.
I do, CAL was my acronym.
The whole Pacific Coast.
Exactly. Yeah. So if a person decides to take the medication, for example, and just arranges it with their doctor and doesn't include their family, that's another disservice.
Right.
You have to think of everyone who loves you and how it's going to affect them.
Right, and that's an important thing. Again, I think that's what this meeting on the 30th is going to be about how you make those communications, the easy ways to let your family know. When do I start including them in my decision-making process, or do I at all, whatever. And I think, again, that's a very individual choice.
It is.
If you know your family might really disagree with that, well then
that's right.
leave them out of that, and let them know once you've signed the paperwork.
That's right. Exactly.
Because it can be so many, it's like, having the politics discussion at Thanksgiving. You're going to have if you have a family you know is going to do that and try to convince you otherwise, well then maybe that's a private decision you make, and then you let everybody know once the documents have been signed and everything's set.
Yes, and the best teacher that I had with deciding to discuss this with my family, she said, you know, Grace, like, do it when you're gathered at Thanksgiving or Christmas. She says, just go with this philosophy, no pie until we discuss how I'm going to die. Isn't that great, Michael? Isn't that terrific?
We'll write that down. All right, Grace Carpenter, the event's coming up April 30th. If you have any questions, she has her email and her phone number that you guys can contact her on if you want any more information about the April 30th event.
And please give me an RSVP. It's on
here.
RSVP,
that's so right, RSVP on that as well.
We're even curating your questions in advance.
Come on out, make sure you RSVP, and we'll get you to the event on April 30th. Thank you so much,
Michael.
Grace.
Thanks so much.
And we'll be previewing our Monday movie when we come back. Stay right there.